Okay.
Thanks, John.
Nice seeing you. Good to see you in, what, last, first quarter? Yeah. Good, good, nice seeing you.
Take care, everybody.
We're going to start. Have a good week. I just want to make sure that was in the, that's a week early. Right. Because of how board members got in case I want to make the first area.
Yep, that's okay.
I didn't even know that. Sure. That's what I looked at.
Okay, folks, we're gonna welcome everybody to the April 23rd meeting. This is gonna be a good meeting today because it's always a good meeting when we highlight somebody, but I'll wait a few minutes on that. So I want to note that there'll be a meeting next, it's gonna be May 21st, which is a week ahead of time because of the holiday weekend. We know we'll need an audit and finance, and there's others if we need other committee meetings.
Need governance.
Governance?
Yeah.
Thank you, Susanna. And a governance. At this time, I'd like to take in this opportunity to acknowledge a long-standing employee of the authority, Danny Cross.
Thank you.
It's a privilege to talk about your tenure here. Danny has been in the Syracuse community for 42 years. Danny's career started back in November of 1978.
77 actually.
77?
It didn't count, yeah.
Okay, I was Danny,
They all count.
Well, Danny,
Yeah,
November.
I don't get paid for it, so.
Well, Danny, November of 77, I was turning 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's good that we both had a great month that month.
Yeah.
Okay? You held many positions over the years, culminating from the day shift board marker in April of '99. The board marker is responsible for managing 150 buses in Syracuse and for knowing where each bus is located at every given time. I'm glad you have that job, but not me, because I don't know where the hell the buses are. Okay.
Well, it doesn't either.
Danny also coordinated with operations and maintenance continually to ensure that all operators had a bus ready to meet the demands of the service, the needs of the community. Danny's behind the scenes, you're a behind the scenes individual. Role was key to ensuring that all customers arrived at their destination safely and on time, and every time they rode with us. This is quite an accomplishment, this many years, very important position, because the impact that you have, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
People feel it. They understand it. And you continue to do this year after year after year. And to me, to us, management, the board, that's amazing of the dedication and the loyalty that you put to this authority. So folks, please join me in congratulating Danny on his retirement effective April 21, on his 42 years of dedication to Central, the Syracuse community, and the most important thing, the customers that we serve.
Probably overweight a little bit better. I'll say she do. Yeah, we can go out there too. All right, gentlemen.
Remember to smile.
Awesome. Thank you.
Partner, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. Yeah.
It was fun.
Any words you'd like to say for 42 years? You can say a few words here, whatever you
Well,
want.
I mean, had a great time here, and it's been a long haul. Had a lot of fun, and it's been trying over the years. With
state fair and all that, but all in all, like I said, the roof over my head, food on my table, I appreciate it, and
We appreciate
wish
you.
I could do it again.
We appreciate you, but you know, this generation right now, there's not gonna be a lot of people in the future of the new generations that are gonna say they were at a place 10 years, let
No.
alone 42 years.
Yeah, I know.
So God bless you and good luck in retirement.
Appreciate it, thank you all.
Thanks, Danny.
You're more than welcome to stay.
More than welcome. Stay or go, it's up to you.
Well, it's beer time right now.
All right.
Unfortunately for you guys, no.
No, I'm not.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, I got- Hey, Danny, here you go, here's a little note. Okay, boy, doesn't it make our day, things like that?
So you're spot on. How many of those do you think we're giving out 20 years from now?
It's not gonna, I mean, let's think about it. I mean, you got people these days, different generations, as they're coming into the job, they're already starting their exit plan, you know, within a couple of years that they're leaving. So when you see these folks that we acknowledge the last couple months, they're really icons. They really are, because, you know, 20, 30, 40 years from now, people say, can you believe that person stayed at a place like 40 years? What was wrong with that person, you know? So we're really blessed. We really are. Great. Love it. Okay. Brian, talk to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report was included in the board packet. We did not need to draw on CARES Act funding, so we remain at the $27.8 million that we've drawn so far. As of the writing of this memo, 7 employees are out. We keep hovering right around that number, between 6 and 8. We get 1 or 2 back, and some more go out.
What was the peak at the time?
We hit 130, I think, at some point.
So 6 or 8.
She's
so
on
nice.
She's up on the screen,
Oh.
Jack, in the back of it.
Yeah, Jack, what were we at our highest, 130-ish?
I'm gonna find my mic to unmute it.
I know, we just started doing these virtual
Yeah,
meetings.
we're right around 1:30.
I know, it takes a learning curve, we just started these, so.
Jakey, how'd you get out of the room? I thought I just saw you in the room. Now you're out of the room. You guys are confused.
That's what I was looking for.
I'm quick, what can I say?
All right, State Fair on March 22nd, Chris and I and some other staff went and met with State Fair. We knew nothing more leaving the meeting than we did going into the meeting. They're still waiting on guidance. They believe there's gonna be some level of State Fair as long as there's not a spike in infection rate. What that's gonna look like, they're not sure. It'll probably be fewer vendors. It'll definitely be limited attendance to maybe 50% of the capacity. So we've still got ongoing conversations with them, and I'll keep you posted as I learn more. Had an opportunity to meet with Senator Mannion. I've known John for longer than probably either one of us want to admit. He's a supporter of public transit. Discussed with him BRT and different our vehicle fleet and challenges facing employers in the region. We continue to talk about this internally. We need bus operators, we need mechanics. We're not alone. You can't walk into any restaurant, retail establishment, whether it's clothing or grocery store, it doesn't matter. You can't walk into any business without them having a help wanted sign out. So, it remains a challenge, and we're continuing to work on that. Bike share program. So the city of Syracuse rolled out an RFP. I have been talking to Greg Lowe and the mayor about us being involved in that. So I was fortunate enough to sit on the RFP review process. They have selected a vendor that they will make public when the time is right. And the way the bike share program works is it's a certain amount of bikes and scooters that are scattered throughout the city limits. They're battery powered. They have GPS, so they have the geo-tracking on them, so you can't take them out of the city limits. If you do take it beyond the city limit, it just kind of sputters to a stop, and then you gotta get off it and push it back over the city line. But it's a really interesting concept. It's something that we're looking into here as well. Syracuse University approached us and they would like to take over. There's approximately 20 bus shelters that are on the campus property. They would like to take them over so they could wrap them and advertise the university. They are well beyond their useful life as far as we're concerned, as far as the federal government's concerned, so there's no issues with us transferring them to the university. And the benefit to us is they will now be responsible for the maintenance and you know, keeping them clean and repaired and up to date and everything. So, and dispatch, I mentioned to you a few meetings ago that I'm going to send a picture around. This is I met with Senator Kennedy. We were standing in the dispatch area. So this is what it looked like a couple months ago. I'd be happy to take anybody downstairs after the meeting to show you what it looks like now. More than doubled the space, refreshed everything. So a new flooring, the walls, the vast majority of the work here internally with our buildings and grounds crew. The only thing we hired out was the electrical work and the HVAC. The dispatch staff is excited. Hopefully moving in there next week. We got a couple more monitors to hang, but other than that, it really looks fantastic.
I've seen the evolution of this, and it's really amazing what our internal personnel has really accomplished.
Yep.
And it's really coming around quite well. Very, very
Yeah,
impressed. with that.
Steve is top notch. He can really do some great finishing work. So that's all for my report. As I mentioned to you the last meeting, I wanted to have members of the senior leadership team address the board on a monthly basis. So right now I'm going to call on Chris Tuff to do a report.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Two items I want to update the board on. The first one is a purchase you guys made several months ago for mobile ticketing with GFI, our current farebox vendor. So recently we've been working with their engineering department. We've gained progress on incorporating their mobile ticketing option into our current Go Central Bus app. So this is a one-stop shop opportunity to track the bus, see detours, check routing, and also purchase passes. So it doesn't require two different apps or two different mobile apps. So hopefully with that we create a more convenient system for our customers and make it more efficient for them to operate. And as things progress, we'll keep the board up to date as far as full implementation and what this will look like once we get through testing. The second item is extremely good news. The triennial review that we take part in every 3 years from the FTA was concluded last week with our final exit interview. The triennial review is a compliance review from the federal government regarding our procurement process for anybody that receives grant dollars from the federal government. And in this case, they review ADA, the maintenance of the facility, the vehicles, anything that's purchased with that grant dollars, and we received a zero finding audit, which is a huge success and show pride of the team we have here. And with that, it's also our 6th consecutive zero findings FTA review, which is outstanding across the country, and especially here for Centro. We do a lot with a little. And I want to take this moment to congratulate the team. It covers everybody from maintenance to procurement to accounting, our ADA, our call a bus center. This is a company-wide achievement, and it shows that what we can do and what we're capable of. And I want to thank everybody for that. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, Chris. Just tagging onto that, it's so important that we do well in that report because when we go for some of these dollars that are member items and discretionary, it helps. The Congressman Katko or Senator Schumer could stand there and say, these guys really know what they're doing. They take in our dollars, they spend them the right way. And EJ Moses was our, EJ, can you go on camera there for a minute?
Howdy.
EJ was he's the ringleader of this, this circus. Just does a phenomenal job. Working right alongside of him at every one of these meetings and getting everything done was Terrace Breaker. Couldn't say enough about you guys. And as Chris mentioned, there's several categories. So, you got school bus, charter bus. That was Steve Cagle, Ed Mueller, Lynette Peguano, Paula Catrone, Brian Green, and Joe DeGray that worked on that one. You got the EEO drug-free workplace. That was Jackie, Chris Morial, Carmen Brianza, and Amanda Wilson from HR. You got maintenance and transit asset and satisfactory continuing control. Jeff Hoff, congratulations. Mike Rice, that works for Jeff. Nate Dow, Chad Thompson, and Melissa Brim from accounting. At Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and legal and procurement, that was Caitlin's area. Financial management, Linda Beata and Melissa Brim. And then the Americans with Disabilities Act, general and paratransit, Josh Gardner, Brian Green, and Jody Gray again. Just a phenomenal team, great work. Take a bow. Great job, guys, seriously. And even when you do the exit interview and you've got the people from Region 2 on the phone with you from the feds, they're even impressed, you know, because they tell you point blank that they don't see this. You know, this is totally different than we got in other areas we talk about and when we're reviewing these triennials. So it's not an easy task to go 6 years in a row. But they set the bar high, so now you can't go backwards.
18 years, actually.
18 years.
Yeah, 18
13
years.
yeah.
I'm sorry, six reviews, so
Yeah.
6 triennials, so 18 years.
Good. Excellent.
And Jackie.
Morning, everyone. Just some brief updates for you. As you recall, a few months ago, we hired Fiscal to perform the salary study for the non-represented staff. The process is moving along. The questionnaires have actually gone out to other comparable agencies. We've extended the deadline by 2 weeks for the return of company questionnaires due to a couple of non-responsiveness that we haven't gotten back yet. And at the time, we were putting together a plan that we may need to add additional companies to the survey, which we have done at this point. So hopefully we'll get the amount of responses that we're looking for. We're looking for at least 8 responses back from different organizations. Secondly, refresher training. The HR department is in the process of organizing the annual refresher training for all employees. Of course, the topics of coverage would be the mandatory harassment, substance abuse, workplace violence, domestic violence, Title VI, and diversity. In the process of doing this, we're also researching a learning management system, which would be a web-based system for training, for any future training for our drivers, operators, maintenance staff, salaried staff, which would help to streamline the training process and save time and money so we don't have to actually do in-person training. Recruitment, as Brian has mentioned, we're in the process of recruiting for bus operators to start on May 17th. Our goal is to hire 10 part-time operators. Obviously, we found this to be very challenging since the pool of applicants is very limited at this time, and Centro is finding that to be true in all areas of hiring at this point, not only just operators or maintenance, even salaried staff positions. And lastly, just a reminder to you guys that I sent out the FDS filing is due on Monday, May 17th to Jacob, and if anybody needs assistance, please feel free to reach out to me because I'm available to help you through the process.
Great.
And that's it.
Thanks,
Super.
Jackie.
Jackie, maybe just a couple days before that's due, just send out another reminder for that Jacob, that filing, please. Thank you.
Yep, I will do that.
All right, thanks, Jackie. Steve?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everybody. I think this morning I'd like to talk a little bit about ridership. At the end of the day, this is why we're here, to get people from one location to another. Obviously, the past 12 months have been very challenging. It's been the first time in my career that I've been trying to figure out how to get fewer people on a bus at some point. It's just been a very difficult year. Our ridership, when we compare this past fiscal year to the most recent full fiscal year, which is 2019, our overall ridership is down 66%. It's a significant number. It's skewed a little high because we lost so many educational riders. We lost Syracuse University, we lost Board of Education, we lost SUNY Oswego. That really skewed the number higher than it is. If you take those types of services out of the equation, our ridership's down about 50% over the course of the year. In Syracuse, it was down 50-ish%, 53%. in some of the smaller properties, the ridership actually wasn't as hurt as much. It was in the 35 to 45% down range. I think Syracuse just has more individuals who had choice riders, and those individuals chose not to ride during the past year. The good news is that in the past month, we've seen a return of a reversal of the trend. In March, we had ridership gains that were about 5% higher than what they were overall. So it was about 48% down in Syracuse, and overall it was down about 60% instead of 65, 66%. So we are seeing some return of ridership. I hope as our communities open back up that we'll have a continuing of this trend over the course of the next year. I don't think it's going to be a quick return to where we were. I think this is going to take some time. And I think that one of the things that we're going to have to do as an industry, not just as an organization, is just return the confidence in the customer of the safety of our services. And I think that's something that we're really going to need to concentrate on this year and going forward. Some of the new services we provide, we debuted the vaccine shuttle that we provide from our transit hub in Syracuse is carrying about 10 to 12 people a day, which is not bad. It's more than I actually anticipated. In the course of, since we've had it open since March 15th, it's about 400 rides we provided to and from the hub, which I think is absolutely worthy of the time and energy that we put into that service. We also run vaccine shuttles from other locations in Utica that have been, it's a more of a parking lot shuttle, but it's very important for individuals to get two of their vaccine shot. It's about 2,500 individuals we've provided service to there. So that has been successful. Our circulator route that debuted March 15th in Syracuse carries about, it's slow, 3 to 4 individuals a day. I anticipate as the economy opens up, as activity returns to our downtown core, that ridership will pick up as well. And the service we run out to Hancock Air Park, in the new portion that we're serving, that's carrying about 7 to 10 individuals a day. And I think that's really good for a first month of service. It will, over time, we'll see some of those employers out there recognize that the service is there. It'll help them hire more individuals. I think that service will certainly grow in the near term. Another thing I would like to talk a little bit about is some of the marketing efforts that we do to kind of support these services. One of the biggest tools that we have from a marketing perspective now is social media. Everyone's on social media, whether it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Instagram. We have a presence on our social media every day where if we don't have something critical to tell our customers, we're at least engaging them in a daily fashion, whether it be transit trivia, other types of nuggets of our service that we're trying to remind people how to use the service, reminders about our mobile app, reminders about what may be coming up in the coming days. In the past year, not surprisingly, the most active engagement we have is anytime we do something that's pandemic related. The vaccine shuttle certainly got a lot of likes. We got a lot of communities sharing. So and the circulator as well. So as we move forward, we really have to use our social media to get the word out about our services, because the days of getting a free article somewhere in a newspaper or on television, that's very difficult these days. We put a press release out about our circulator. We got one hit from a local television station. So it's a challenge to get that type of information out unless you use social media. It's just it's our best weapon right now. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thanks, Steve. Mike Fitzgibbons.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Brian. I'm just going to talk about 3 things. We're doing on cybersecurity side change out of our antivirus program, going from Symantec to Sophos. Sophos is a really neat program in that it allows us to not only watch on a live basis what's actually happening within our systems, but there's also tech support people watching it with us too. One of the people was actually from HR doing some encrypting the other day, and Sophos was reaching out to us saying, hey, we see some encrypting going on. So it's kind of neat to see that they were active in that process. We also, another project we're working on is Maintenance Connection. Maintenance Connection is a really large program replacing our AS400 for the vehicle maintenance inventory systems that we have throughout the whole company. So this includes many different departments, of course, the vehicle maintenance, facility maintenance, from IT, procurement, accounting, all kind of coming together to bring us into the 21st century in this process. It's in the design phase. We're looking at hierarchy, naming conventions, and then importing information, testing, and so on. Looking to roll that out probably in the next 3 to 4 months, maybe sooner, depending on how well this goes. And then finally, our trapeze program. We're installing, I should say, updating a program or module in our trapeze program, ops program, called Workforce Management. Workforce Management will allow us to track any accidents and instances that actually happen within the system and tie it to employees within the ops application itself. These reports will be provided for PTSB, DOT, DMV, and NTD. And I know that acronyms like this are not always easy for people to see and understand, but basically PTSD, the Public Transportation Safety Board, DOT, I think everybody knows, DMV, pretty obvious, NTD, National Transit Database. We provide information about what's actually happened within these systems to these groups in this process. This also is in design phase at this point and looking very positive where we're going with the interaction with trapeze at this point, looking really good. And I think for now, that's it from my team.
Thanks, Mike.
Nice job, Mike.
Jeff Hall.
Yes, good morning. I wanted to go over a couple things. As you're aware, it's difficult finding new employees, especially with mechanical skills. We are offering more opportunities for our entry-level employees to become mechanic trainees. These trainees typically start on the floor, which learns tasks such as, but not limited to, replacing brakes, suspension, steering, starting buses, and towing buses. The floor has been an initial department to start training and gaining necessary skills to become mechanics. Many of our current employees have started in this department and since transferred on to other departments such as the engine, air and electric, AC. We are expanding our internal training to these mechanics to these other departments. It's been easier to hire entry-level employees, which are our servicer cleaners. And this also allows them opportunities to move up in the company. In addition to that, we're having a hard time replacing some of the retirees. So this is a good thing. We're going to expand this out to the employees here real soon. Next thing is cleaning and sanitizing buses is still a major concern. We continue to work with our vendors on training staff with current best practices, in addition to using effective products. Management is reviewing buses daily to ensure proper procedures are followed for safety of the public and our staff. And last, I just want to go over a couple projects we have in the loop. Rehab of our fueling station. Proposals are out and should be coming back soon. Current technology is over 20 years old, and our staff has done a great job keeping it moving since. We're looking forward to getting this redone. Paving of the Auburn and Oswego parking lots, they're in poor condition. Every year, staff is having to go out and refill potholes. Caitlin will bring the results to the board next month. Project should start sometime in summer. And last but not least is the underground storage tank. It's the tops of them for diesel, gas, oil, antifreeze. We have the underground storage tanks, which the tops is where they drop the fluid into, are in really poor shape, corroding out, allowing water to get inside. This too is well over 20 years old. Replacing the tops ensures no contaminants get inside in the tanks, and the underground tank stays in good shape. Finalizing the specifications is underway right now, and that's all I have for now.
Yeah, Jeff, this is Nick. I like the succession planning or apprenticeship, whatever we might call that. I think it gives some people hope from an internal upward mobility. Very limited. We've talked about that here before, with seeking out qualified people. So I really like that from the internal. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
And then the last, Joe will have his report on our operations. And the last thing I want to mention, I want to thank Caitlin for spearheading our sustainability committee and organizing our Earth Day cleanup. Tomorrow morning, about a little over 20 central staffers will be out cleaning the neighborhood, picking up paper and participating in Earth Day.
Super. Okay, great. Enjoyed everybody's report. A lot of work going on. I just want to go back up to the top. I want for a motion to approve the minutes for the March 26th meeting. I went over that because I was looking forward to the recognition. Get a motion, Joe, second, Robert, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna get to the Audit and Finance Committee. As we know, these were all discussed in detail at the committee. There were no financials this month because of the audit, but we did have a bunch of motions and also resolutions. The first motion that the committee approved, bring it to the full board for approval, was the Office of State Controller Budget Impact Statement. Was approved and moved for the full board for approval. Need a motion for this? Robert, second. Luella, all in favor? Aye. Next motion.
Aye.
Was a continuation discussion of last month with the final capital plan for fiscal year 21-22. Motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. Need a motion at this point. Joe, second. Robert, all in favor?
Aye.
John Maloff came, haven't seen him in a while. It's great to see people in person, everybody today actually, for the renewal of the excess liability and insurance auto. Rates were, I think, respectful. I gotta say they were respectful at this point. And, you know, it's a very moving, I think, industry right now, insurance. And John gave us a little discussion about what's driving some of the rates, natural disasters and other things, and looking at, they're trying to measure risk, these insurance companies, and public transportation looks like it's a risky business, even if we don't have those claims. I think they look at the sector as a whole. With that being said, motion was made to bring it to the full board for the renewal of the liability coverage. Need a motion, please? Robert, second. Joe, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Caitlin brought to us Resolution 3B, to authorize contract award for retiree drug subsidy reopening services. Motion was made to award contract to RDS Services for a 5-year contract from June 1, 21 to May 31st, 26. A motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. Motion I need at this point. Luella, second. Robert, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Caitlin also discussed with us the turn-by-turn software, purchase and maintenance agreement. I always stress maintenance because software is one thing about it, keeping it going is the other thing. So we're gonna see a lot of these, I think, type of contracts and resolutions in the future because it just goes hand in hand. So a motion was made to award contractor Clever Devices for the purchase and maintenance of the software. Need a motion at this point to approve this. Robert, second. Joe, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And finally, Tara led a discussion on the section 5339, 5307 grant program to go get us some money. So with that being said, a motion was made to approve that, and a motion now to move that. Robert, second. Luella, all in favor? Aye. And then Linda also did some just FYI information. She also brought up about our report, our financial plan, our strategic plan. There was a bunch of people involved with this report. I think it was put together very nice. Our year-end report here, as I stated, it tells the story of, I think, the challenges that we went through this year, and the story of the future, of where we're going. And also highlights some individuals in here, and I really like this, so kudos to everybody. I think this helps the board a lot, summarize a lot of work that was done, and at this point, I'm gonna call on Mr. DeGray for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. March 31st ended our quarterly, all of us, as well as our year end. Bus provided a little over 25,000 rides in the quarter of ending March 31st to approximately 850 customers. We're still down about 35% in ridership. I would hazard a guess that between vaccination progress and better weather, we'll start seeing an uptick there. Just for a comparison, fiscal year 21 just ended. If you look at that ridership compared to fiscal 20, we were down about 55,000 rides, so it was fairly significant. In a group of folks that require a lot of times that our clients of our call bus are not just traveling for entertainment. A lot of it's doctor's appointments and groceries and things that they couldn't get to. So my guess is we're gonna start seeing an uptick as they can start getting back out and getting to do the things they need to do. Second item, one of the important parts that you've already heard about with the capital plan and why it's so important to us is we can buy assets on a timely basis. So recently we've been able to purchase 8 paratransit vehicles, 33 30-foot fixed route, which are gonna end up in Rome, New York, here in the next couple of weeks as we go through final inspection. But the idea that we're able to purchase on time, in particular in the Northeast, where corrosion and the weather really takes a beating on these vehicles. If you're a transit authority in the South or the West, you can probably get 14 or 15 years out of a vehicle. Here, when we get to that 12th year, it's really imperative that we're on time with our purchases. So all of us are 5 years, the bigger buses are 12, but it is imperative because now we're wasting money. Once we cross 12, we're gonna start dumping money into bodies and things that we could really be spending money on other things on. So it's really, when you hear about this capital plan, it is important to everything we do, in particular when we're purchasing assets, so.
What's the, I know there's not limited, but there's less with Orion out of the business now. So what are your top,
Well, there's really three
companies?
when you talk about big bus or fixed route buses, you're really talking there's 3 manufacturers left. There's Gillig, which we just signed a contract with, New Flyer,
Right.
and then Nova, which is up in Plattsburgh, New York.
And Gillig is on the West Coast, correct?
They're on the West Coast. They are based just a little east of San Francisco.
Right.
And it's there's really 3 left. It's a very finite business. There's not a lot of money in it. The money's in the aftermarket stuff. But when you talk about OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, there's only really 3 big ones left. So we are fortunate that in the contract we have coming up, that was procured not that long ago, that we really got a very aggressive pricing from Gillig, which is going to allow us to buy some things that we needed for those buses without having to spend additional funds. So again, it reflects on the capital plan. So
Good. No, I like it. Good.
you stole my thunder on Mr. Cross, and I appreciate you doing that. But I do want to recognize Danny. 42 years is not just, it sounds like a lot, but when you think about everybody that works here and that day to day, you never see Dan. And there's a lot of people we don't get to see. Obviously, it's a small group that gets to come up here every day. But when you drive by this building and somebody looks in there and thinks, that's where the bus company is. They have no idea what goes on and what it takes to make that bus go down that road and on time and on a safe basis. But it's everybody that works here, and there's 615 or 20 of us now. So Danny is just a microcosm of what it takes to run this place, and we're gonna miss him. You're gonna miss, and what you referred to is the ethic of what he does every day. Danny came to work every day. 42 years. If he missed 10 days in 42 years, it'd probably be a lot. We're gonna miss that. We miss that in some of the younger people, and why, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into the whole philosophical reason why people don't like to work anymore, but when a guy like him leaves, it basically takes 1.5 people to replace him.
Yeah.
And that costs money. So it's imperative that our as you heard, we're reaching out and trying to hire new people, and the idea of retaining people is even more important. So we're working on that too.
We keep people working in the 70s, keep people working in their 80s, we keep it going, so we'll be all right. Okay,
Where's
good
the
report,
oxygen?
Joe. Good report. Okay. Robert, I know the pension committee met this morning.
Yes, we met this morning, and Alesco Advisors presented a detailed overview on the authority's return with the pension plan and the allocation. as well as an in-depth and really well done market discussion. No action was taken. That concludes my pension report.
Okay, very good. Joe, I know the leave committee met this morning. No.
No action was taken, met in executive session.
Okay. Old business,
None.
future business.
None.
Okay, and then we just gotta tidy up, last month, the, Luella, I think, brought forward the slate of officers, through the committee. We just needed to bring it to the full board now. Luella, you wanna report out once again on that slate, and then we'll get those approved?
Bottom.
The motion, to approve slate officers was, for the new slate of officers is Nicholas Leno as chairman, Robert Galucci, vice chairman, Darlene Lattimore, secretary, and Tina Fitzgerald, treasurer.
Okay, so we need a motion here to move that. Joe? Second? Robert?
Darlene?
Darlene, second Darlene, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
And thank you for your, thank you for your trust in me to lead again. I appreciate that, along with all the board members' involvement and work in a great organization. At this point, I think that's enough, and have a great weekend, everybody. God bless.